Definitely good to be back in Detroit with a win against a great opponent, no doubt. Really had to battle those guys all the way through the end. Really impressed by two things, really. The drive at the end of the half, the drive at the end of the game. Just really, really impressed by the guys coming together, doing what they had to do in the midst of some things that didn't quite go our way. I really thought Jameer or Sonic, whatever you want to call him, played really, really well. It was one of his best performances, there's no doubt about it. He was sound in the pass game, sound in the run game. You can see him starting to come on. His load is continuing to grow, and he's doing a good job. David also was on a good track right there. Both those guys, I think, once again came out of it with 70-plus scrimmage yards. But he had an unfortunate fumble. There's those things that can be corrected with him. Really, really proud of the way the room kind of rallied around him because he takes this stuff so serious, so to heart. Just a situation there, a coaching point, just keep the wrist above the elbow, and he'll be ready to get back going to that. But just really, overall, just impressed with our guys up front. Some of the things that they were able to do with all the pressure and all the different looks that he was trying to give us. I thought our guys, met the challenge.
So after the game, you ran to Montgomery when he was still sitting on the. Can you share about what you said to him, and what does it just speak to him as a player that he does take those things like heart, but maybe he shouldn't all the time?
No, that's exactly what you want. When you get the right type of pedigree in a player. What I told him is that when you're a professional athlete and you're the best that do it, there's no room for embarrassment. Every day you come out here, you lay it all out on the line, and guess what? You don't always get the result that you want, and it's a little bit different than the other businesses where if you make a mistake or you don't quite do things the right way, and maybe two or three people know, well, this is one of those businesses when you're in professional sports, you're a gladiator, man. Everybody gets to watch it. This is what you chose to do, and guess what? You got another chance here to get back on the grass in a couple of days. And once you're back on the grass, it'll go away. We just got to continue to, make sure that when he does go through those moments, he have the teammates that he has in the locker room to pull him through. But really wasn't surprised in what he did or kind of his mode or his just thought process of having that mistake in that type of a critical time. That's what you got to have. If you got guys to get over that before they can even get through the game, that's not the type of people that we have in the building.
We've talked about with Jameer here in the last couple weeks, one, getting the receptions going in the right direction. You already know where I'm going with the second one, making that last defender miss. Is there anything else you want to will into existence this week?
Yeah, the next thing is, can you do it twice? Or is that all you got? Is that it? I mean, is that all we get to, if that's it, then it was luck if that was it. No. Really, we want to continue to grow him in protection. We do understand that there's probably some mismatches, but his job to make those mismatches become non-mismatches. So continue to grow him in protection. Also, as we get going, the utilization of him in multiple ways with David on the field, with David off the field, just different things that we can do in our pass game and run game. So just continue to grow. We got a lot more schematically that we can grow with him. And now it's just about putting in the time, putting in the effort. Now his body is getting in football shape. He had coming into camp, it was, he wasn't quite where he needed to be coming out of camp, I should say, with the injuries that he sustained while he was there. So now we're starting to see the things that he's working on in the weight room, the things that our training room have been working on, they're starting to show up now.
Your shot again before Monday Night Football, you said one of your favorite memories was the wide receiver throwing a pass.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes later, Amon-Ra St. Brown threw a pass. So do you have any memories of 1 o'clock games against Tennessee that you want to unearth for us?
I do have one, but it was it was down at the Titans. It was there, so it doesn't kind of, it's not a big deal this week. But we're gonna go play hard. We're gonna play well, and hopefully, at the end of this game, we'll be in a position where we'll be victorious again. But it's a lot of work to be done between that.
After that, what are you doing? Revealing and giving some.
Absolutely not.
No.
You think I just, that was dumb luck, right?
What did you see on that play that made the play one well?
Oh, well, getting to the second level untouched. If you can get to the second level untouched with full speed, it's going to be hard for anybody to tackle you. Like, now, I would have gotten tackled. Most of us would have gotten tackled. But when you get to the second level that clean, that's a running back's dream. And then when you have vision on a safety at 8-9 yards away, it gives you a little bit of an advantage. You've seen that early in the year, with backs being in. Usually it happens in the middle of the field where you get that kind of space. But that was the biggest deal. We put a heavy emphasis last few weeks on trying to make the second level, third level defenders miss. And, the drills, they show up, and it showed up. He was working on some different things throughout the week, and it showed up that he had a one-on-one opportunity. He created leverage on the safety, took the leverage away from the safety, and was able to then use what the last part of the run nobody's talking about is J-Mo was finishing on the backside. So instead of having to just all out jet it out, he was able to use the backside block by J-Mo and just walk into the end zone. And when you have those kind of things happen up front, and then you have J-Mo blocking like he did on the backside, and then of course you got the super talent that Gibbs has. You can make people miss and go score.
The human element sometimes of the game. When David went down there, it looked obviously a lot worse than it was, and the way he had to walk off. We see you giving him some words of encouragement as he gets to the sideline. How difficult is it to focus in those immediate moments afterward when you're trying to figure out what's going on with your guy?
If you've ever had a family member to get hurt in front of you, or to hit the ground in a manner in which you know something's not right, it's probably one of those situations to where the first thing you think about is, let me make sure this person is safe, and then you start to worry about the pain part of it. And then, of course, your mind, unfortunately, we're human, right? It starts to think about, oh, my God, just want to make sure he can do what he needs to do in his life before anything else. And then hopefully he can, play football, when you get to that point. But it's really difficult. It's difficult. Anytime any of our players go down, like when Aiden hit the ground, for coaches, it's just a different feel. We don't ever get used to that. It's a part of our game that, the league has done a great job of trying to continue to improve, but it's still a physical contact sport, so it's difficult to see guys on the ground. And the focus part of it is you immediately are watching him, but what focuses you is when you turn and you have the rest of the team behind you counting on you, so your focus has to go right back to the team. And we love David, and we're glad he was able to bounce back off of that, but the focus went right back to the team after that.
And Jameer's running style increased since he's been here. Like you mentioned, the weight room, it seems like that's showing up more and more on the field. He has some downhill demeanor to him too. Have you seen that increase over his time here?
Yeah, I think his physicality is increasing with confidence. But if you go back to the Kansas City game, his first game that he ever played in, he was ridiculously physical in that game, along the sideline, running people over, knocking people down. So he's always had that physicality. Now I just think that you're starting to see him on interior runs, handle things a little bit differently, and now that his load is growing, you're seeing him in different settings. But he is, I've said it before, people, they look at him and they think that he is just this dynamic guy, but if you were to watch him, he's put together to be able to run the football.
The awareness on the Cleve touchdown of Gibbs to kind of throw his body in there and avoid a penalty and still kind of set up Cleve for that touchdown.
Yeah, high level of awareness, but our head coach coaches that, right? Like that's not just something that just happened. That it was he was really aware, but we've heard our head coach get into those settings and talk about throwing a high screen or a high pick where you're not using forcible contact or you're using forcible hands and where they won't call it. So this is one of those situations that we're coaching from the top, kind of filtered down through all of us, and we coach exactly what Dan asked us to coach, and that was one that showed up in that situation there.
So well, Tennessee, defending the run, I think they're top 5 in yards per carry.
Yeah, their size on the interior is definitely something that is hard to deal with, but 9-8 has been a player in this league, and he's been he's been a monster in this league forever. He presents his own challenge at that position, and he's a 3 technique that can play pretty much anywhere he wants to play, and he uses his hands well. So trying to make sure that we can control him starts there, and then their backers, all right? I know they just had a trade there, but their backers play downhill, and they're physical, and they're talented. And they keep continuous pressure on you, and with the width of their ends, it kind of forces you in the box a little bit. So we got our work cut out for us. A lot of people have, but they do a really good job of trying to make sure that they win the line of scrimmage. We'll try to battle that.
How's it going, guys?
We've talked to you since Barnes went out. I'm just curious how you feel the group as a whole has kind of stepped up to fill that pretty massive void.
First and foremost, tremendous loss for us, and personally for myself. My little brother went down like that in that fashion. That hurts, but he's in great spirits now. You'll never know nothing happened to him. He pops in the meetings. He's around a lot. He's talking to the guys. He's a direct influence on Trevor Nowalski. He's texting pregame, postgame, so he's right there with us every step of the way. And then just speaking towards the other guys that have stepped up, it's been a combination of guys. I mean, filling in that role now, we've had everybody from Malcolm to Nowalski to Ben Neiman to Germ step in since that Arizona game and do a phenomenal job. And to be quite frank with you, I wouldn't expect anything less. It's everything I've been speaking about since the day I took over that room. You coach the bottom half of the room the exact same you coach the top half. And when you do that, you expect no drop-off. And luckily for us, we've seen no drop-off whatsoever.
Malcolm can do, and we know what Germ can do because we've seen it before. Trevor is new to us, I guess, from a defensive role. First 2 or 3 games, he's seen defensive snaps.
Yep.
Looks like he's doing some really good things out there in limited roles. What has been your impression, and I guess how much more can he have put on his plate with what he's accomplishing, what you've given him so far?
Mentally, he can handle everything. I mean, multiple spots, the whole 9. He's been this way since his rookie training camp. It's a big reason why not only myself, AG, Dan, but the front office all were very eager to get him back. And the second we could, we went out and did that. It's because what he came in and showed. I've seen this since last training camp. If you go back to last preseason, he made a lot of plays in that preseason, which is a big reason why we kept him around here for the length that we did. So to say it's a surprise, absolutely not. This is exactly how I expected him to play. And what I told him now, what he's done is he's now introduced himself to the world and to the NFL. So now guys it's not going to be a surprise, Trevor. When you line up, they're going to be buckled up. They're going to be ready to play. And that's okay. That's all good. It's the NFL. And he's going to be ready to meet that match.
You told us that you trust everyone in your room to kind of get the job done when called upon, but is it gratifying for you to actually see that happen on the field and when you give those guys opportunities, see them make those plays?
Absolutely. I mean, as a coach, all you want is for your players to go out and perform. And outside of the fact, job security and all that stuff, because I could care less about that, to be honest with you. But it's just I feel like I'm playing through these guys. I'm out there with them every step of the way. I know the work they put in, and a lot of times just call it what it is. In the NFL, you have your starter set in training camp, and that is what it is. And the other guys are special teams guys. They rarely get to touch the grass on offense or defense. That is not the case here in Detroit. That's not the case in the linebacker room or any other room here. We're going to play the best players. And, I mean, I've been saying it, Dan's been saying it, but if people have been paying attention and watching our games, that's what we do, and that's what we live by. So I think that's why this has become an attractive destination for free agents, vet guys, back-end guys, quote-unquote, that are special teams guys that want an opportunity on offense and defense. Their eyes are wide open now at Detroit, like, man, if I'm over there, if I do what I need to do, they're going to find a role for me. And when you have that, you get the best out of everyone, because now everybody feels like they're a part of it. And not knocking special teams, because it's a huge contribution. In my room, everyone plays special teams except for Alex, and they know that comes first. Fip needs you. I don't want to hear I played 50 snaps on defense. You're playing for Fip, and that just is what it is. It's non-negotiable. And all these guys step up to that, and they've taken full advantage of each and every opportunity they've gotten.
Having that kind of steady ascension for a player. Have you been seeing that with Jack now this second season? Where do you think he's taken the biggest steps in his development, Shep?
Tim, I'm glad you asked about him, because it's like he's like the quiet guy in there. Everybody, Nowalski, Malcolm, let's not forget, almost the heartbeat of this defense since Jack's gone down is that guy. And the reason I say that, he's not a real rah-rah guy. He's not doing this Ray Lewis stuff. But what he does is everything's by example for that player. Watch him at practice. Watch every rep he plays. Watch when he makes tackles. What does he do after the tackle? He never celebrates. He's on his feet right now looking to the sideline. What's the next personnel grouping so he can help all the other guys on the field? And that's just how he's wired. And I'm just thankful and glad I'm able to coach him and be a part of his development as a linebacker.
Mentioned, I think it was on Monday, that Rodrigo played everything from inside to the nickel.
Yep.
And there was a lot on his plate. How hard is what he did, and how important was what he did Sunday?
When you prepare yourself and you make it hard during the week, it's easy on Sunday because then it's just muscle memory. And it really is. And those guys have bought into that philosophy. I'm very, very hard on my players. And guys that play for me to come in my room, they understand it's never demeaning, but it is demanding. And because not only, guys, I know I didn't become an all-pro linebacker, but I fully understand what it takes to play at a high level on Sunday in this league throughout my playing career and now watching as a coach. And those guys believe in me. Number one, they trust me. Number two, and it's direct communication. It's no BS. I'm on them right when they mess up, but I'm the same guy. I'm their biggest cheerleader when they make a play. And I think when you have that, it's a true bond. And when we walk into stadiums every Sunday, it's us against them and let's go. And their preparation allows them to perform the way that you see them guys performing.
I want to ask one more on Malcolm. He probably took the biggest hit to his playing time between his first and second season with the addition of Jack and the emergence of Derek.
Yep.
He always seemed to take it in stride every time I talked to him. I mean, just wherever he could help, he didn't care how he got on the field. Goes back to what you were saying about Phil. What is it about his mentality that he's able to take that, I don't know, demotion, whatever you want to call it, and keep grinding the way he has, so that when this new next opportunity comes up, he's so prepared for it?
To be honest with you, it's a wrestler mentality. It goes back to his background, his upbringing. He has phenomenal parents, phenomenal brothers, phenomenal family, and he was raised the right way. Mental toughness, you talk about grit, try wrestling and try doing it for a minute, let alone a whole match. And that mindset and mentality allows him to be able to persevere through anything. And I've always reminded him, even last year, guys, I stood before you all and said, Malcolm Rodriguez is a starter in my mind. And I've never wavered from that since his rookie year when he took over and hit the scene running and took every veteran spot in the room. Till right now, he's a starting caliber linebacker, and now he's ascending to a place where a lot of people are viewing him on the topper end of the linebackers in his league when you really watch him play.
Your linebackers embrace the challenge of trying to get after the quarterback and rush the passer when they're asked to play that role a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. That directly affects the ball game and the outcome of the game. If you could affect the quarterback, he has the ball. It's kind of a no BS statement, but he has the ball every play. If you could directly impact him, you're going to impact the outcome of the game. And these guys, every time their number's called, and even if it's not called, they know we play an aggressive style here, and these guys are thriving in it now. They embrace the fact that Hutch went down. We all have gotten that, and now it's time to move on. Let's go. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are we all going to sob and say what we don't have? Let's hone in on what we do have and making the most out of that.
Do they like the challenge of trying to get after the quarterback in that last play?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Ross got that
And
sack.
now that's been called since 2021 7 times and 6 sacks and one, I think, 7-yard little kind of fly ball.
Superpowers a lot in this organization. What is a guy's superpower? I'm curious what you view Jack's superpower as his coach.
What's his superpower is knowing exactly who he is and staying within that realm and not trying to be Alex, not trying to be Malcolm, not trying to be this guy, that guy, knowing that I'm Jack Campbell, I play a certain way. I don't care if people laugh at me for getting up and running, not celebrating. Because after a while, guys going to stop laughing and they're going to start following. And that's what you see happening now. And I seriously mean this, like, Jack mentally is wired different than anybody I've ever coached or probably played with, to where you rarely get emotion out of him. To him, this is a business, this is a job, and he understands the task week in and week out. And that player thrives in being yelled at. He thrives when things get hard. He thrives in people leaning on him because he's mentally and physically conditioned to do that. And like I said, it's an absolute honor to coach a player like that and to be directly involved with his kind of growth and development as a human and a player.
Where can Jack grow as a pass rusher? He said he's not going to become Hutch overnight, but he
No,
does.
no,
He does
I
want to
can
grow in
promise
that
you.
regard. Where can he develop more as a pass rusher?
Kind of what I just said, just knowing who he is. You're for sure not Hutch. But there are things that Jack brings to the table. You talk 6'5", 250-pound linebacker. As far as rushing him down the middle of offense, rushing him off the edge. He provides a lot of flexibilities that a guy like Hutch may not be able. You don't know if this player is dropping out in coverage, if he's adding in, or was that a pressure? What is he doing here? So I think just keeping the offense on their pins and needles now is kind of, and AG, he has done an absolute magician work job with what he's had to work with here in the course of 4 years. And now I think just a grand scheme, because that caliber player's gone down, now everybody's shining a light on Aaron Glenn's getting schematically creative. Well, this is what this man's been doing for 4 years here, and I'm glad he's getting a little recognition for it now.
Jack played some stuff last year, might not have been fully ready for it, rookie year, trying to learn the league and everything. Do you feel like maybe he's ready for some of those more opportunities this year, just based on second year, feet wet, things like that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, even Alex can play the same. That room is taught, we teach in there, it's not like a by position teaching. We teach in holistic terms and holistic so they understand the full scope day one. So when it gets to these situations, Jack, I need you at the Sam, he doesn't blink, he goes. Jeremy, I need you at the nickel right here, he doesn't blink, he goes. So these guys understand things conceptually, whereas in previous years I made it, like people have taught me, like this is what you have on this play, like, but that's not growing a player's mind in football development in total. Like these players learn conceptually, so now when those things happen, they don't blink. But honestly, if Trevor Nowalski continues to play the way he's playing, I mean, the only way Jack ends up out there if Trevor glitches out on me, like I said, like to say, and that player has ice water in his veins, and I doubt that Trevor does that.